All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to live stream. Hope everybody had a good break. If you were on the morning session, or if you were not and you're just now joining for the afternoon session, welcome back. If you're a returning subscriber and if you're brand new to the channel, I give you a warm welcome. Happy New Year to everyone. All right, just taking a peek at the activity from the lunch hour. Just want to get myself back grounded with the market. Okay, it looks like potentially we may be syncing up where all the indices are now willing to move in the same direction at the same time. At least this hour, it looks like that may be the case. So we'll give them some more time to develop. I know in the morning session, the Dow was being antisocial, wanted to hang out with the dollar and not with the other indices. So we had some sticky price action where price didn't want to move past certain levels. A lot of that had to do with the fact that the indices and the dollar weren't agreeing with each other. So we'll look and see if that changes this afternoon. So far, it looks like the three indices are selling at the beginning of this hour, the first couple minutes, and we have the dollar hasn't really moved yet. But we'll see if it seeks higher prices and maybe takes out the morning low, which would then potentially give us a short. But we're not going to be married to the idea of a short. We're going to just give it a little bit more time and figure out exactly where price wants to go. All right, let's move this up to the 5 minute. Okay, for anyone from the morning session, this is that fair value gap from the 15 minute from, I believe, 2 to 3 weeks ago that we saw price get sticky this morning. It kind of passed through, but it continued to close inside of the range, and then it moved outside of the range and sought higher prices. Many of us caught along this morning from that movement, but we see price now after lunch is now approaching those lows and now back in that fair value gap. All right, there we go. I think while we wait, let's just pop over and take a peek at the dollar and just see what happened this morning and whether it reached any levels that it was needing to, any liquidity levels that it needed to reach in order to move in the opposite direction. And so far, the 5 minute doesn't show me anything. Let me move up a time frame. Start at the hour. Okay, so this is the 10 o'clock hour. We saw price start out down here, push all the way up, taking out the opening range high. Then the 11 o'clock hour took out the high from the 10 o'clock. And then we saw lunch just sit in between the 11 o'clock range. So now that we're after the lunch hour, we want to see if price wants to continue for higher prices, or if we'll get a rejection here and we'll start pushing towards either mean threshold of this wick from the 10 o'clock hour, or if we'll push to the lower regions of this fair value gap. Okay, and that movement is what's going to drive our indice bias. Move down to the 15 minutes, see if there's anything to pay attention to there. right? Because if we look at it, we're essentially sitting in between these two liquidity levels. So 10 o'clock and yeah, so 10 and 11, we're sitting in the middle of that that range. So we'll see where the dollar wants to go from here. Okay, let's take a peek at ES. So ES, we see it put in a morning high, or at least during the lunch hour, it took over the morning highs. Everything from New York has not taken over the London levels. The London levels is where we saw price crash from um, at the highs of the day. So that's where the London levels are. But we did see the New York high swept during the lunch hour. Now, as we look at indices and what we expecting for the hour or for the afternoon, it's whether we think it's going to sweep these lows or whether we're going to push higher into this fair value gap here, which is a pretty sizable one. Right. And getting through there gets you back to the new day opening gap, essentially to the opening of where price began yesterday. But that's if price wants to push higher and we want to eclipse these highs. We'll just kind of continue to monitor price. But as we were seeing the dollar, it looks like it was closer to taking highs. And we're now looking at indices. It looks like it's pushing lower. But we're still in the first 10 minutes of the hour. So we're not going to look too deep into what price is doing right now. But we are going to continue to monitor and see if things change over the next few minutes, especially as the macro finishes in the next minute and a half. We'll look and see if we see any impulsive action. Okay, move back over to Nasdaq just so we don't lose sight of the pair that we're actually trading. Move down. Okay, we have the 15-minute actually in the lower left-hand corner. So we're going to leave the big screen on 5 minutes for now, and then we'll probably shift down to the 1. One. Okay, since we're down in a fair value gap area and I see we've closed above the 50% after piercing through. We also began this candle on the 50% level at the 5 minute. I'm going to go down to the 1 minute just in case if we get any impulsive action, like a impulsive move upwards, taking out this swing high, I just want to be aware of it when it happens. And then also if it creates a fair value gap or something on this lower time frame, I didn't want to miss it. Okay. Right now we have the dollar pushing lower. So with dollar and all indices are so far this hour pushing lower. But what we need to really pay attention to is whether Nasdaq is going to break out of its little lows that it put in at the start of this hour, and then whether the other indices will follow. Looking at S&P, looks like it's right around where it began the hour. So the S&P looks like it may break out similar to the Nasdaq, but the Dow is not following. At least not yet. It hasn't. Okay, so you can start trading at 11. Alrighty. Okay. So you can still join at 10 and just kind of hang out with us for an hour, or if you don't think you can control yourself, then just join us at 11. Yeah, I would say if I look over the lifetime of my trades and just look at everything, I'm definitely more successful in the afternoons than in the morning. I don't typically trade during the lunch hour, so I don't have a lot of experience with that. But definitely my afternoons have been better. Right. So Chris, did you say you got 10 points or you're up 10 points and you're still in your trade? Mhm. Short at 16,778. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. So you jumped in right before 12, right before lunch hour was over. Low rich. That was a sizable trade. You ran it down. I don't know when you got out, but you could have gotten at least 60 points. Oh, okay. All right. So you ended your trade. All right. I just wanted to know if you were still in or not. But no, 10 points that's a good pull, especially if you're really confident in that 10 points and you can leverage up and maybe go in with 2 or 3 contracts. All it's a fair value gaps. One tick. Okay, it's not even worth drawing. Can't see it. But it looks like price bounced through it, rejected out of it, and now we're pushing upwards, seeking higher prices. Okay, let's be aware of this fair value gap here. This is on the 2 minute. Let me drop to the 1 and see if it's also there. Okay, it's a little smaller. So since we are on the 1 minute more often, let's just draw it here. And we also have this one. That's pretty big. Wow. Lots of areas to pass through on the way back up, assuming price does want to push for these highs that were done prior to lunch. Okay, so now we have them all identified. Let's see now where price is. Okay, last one, trouble. This is last one. 660. Oh, you're holding, still holding 16,660. All right. Oh, that was the level that you called out before lunch. Okay, forgot about that. Okay, so in that case, you're expecting one of these levels to reject price. Thank you, Ghost. Appreciate it. 1 hour double top. Okay. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Up at 789. Yep. Yep. Right here, the line I had marked up before as pool of liquidity. But as soon as it breaks through, you're right. There is a on the 1 hour time frame because of all of this movement that happened during the opening half hour after the bell. On the 1 hour time frame, that created a huge fair value gap that starts right here. So, so yeah, what we could get is we could get a move up, sweeping these relative equal highs, taken out 17,789, which then puts you in the bearish fair value gap, and then you can see price either sweep down or it can continue up and push through, but more than likely it'll push down. All right, we saw the first candle test this fair value gap and reject off of it. So let's see what the next candle does. All right. All right, pushed all the way through. Next candle pushed all the way through the fair value gap. Now we're interested to see where it closes. Its closing position will determine how we view the market. L-Bomb Inc. Good afternoon. Okay, so we got a closure above. Closure above. Let me see how far. Okay, a good amount. So let's get rid of this fair value gap. We don't need it any longer. In fact, we'll see if this candle creates a bullish fair value gap, which will sit here. Could become a floor or some kind of support for price as it pushes towards the next level. Okay, so it did create that fair value gap I was talking about. So let's now draw it in. Right, equal highs swept. Next level is 16,751. 16,751. Okay, did it fully close it in? One tick left. Okay, now it fully closed it. And now let's see if we'll get a retest of this fair value gap. 16,807. Okay. Wow. 807. Yeah, today was absent of news or any heavy news, and so it didn't have that, I guess, volatile morning that we would normally expect, which would then have price in the afternoon, either trying to um, balance price a little bit or something similar. But we'll see. Maybe it's setting us up for tomorrow since there is news tomorrow. Um, yeah, we have news orange folder at 8:30, and then we have two red folders at 10 with orange as well at 10. And then FOMC meeting minutes at 2 p.m. Okay, so tomorrow's going to be quite eventful. I guess they're going to come out and wish us a happy new year and give us maybe their yearly outlook or something. But there is an FOMC member speaking at 8:30 in the morning, and then the minutes coming at 2 p.m. So uh, tomorrow we should be cautious until around 2:30, which is a bit disappointing since I do like trading in the morning, even though I'm a better trader in the afternoon. I still like waking up, looking at the charts, and potentially taking a trade. I don't want to have to sit on the sidelines until 2:30. So I will look for a trade tomorrow, but like I said, we need to be careful. Okay. Okay, we did not close lower, but we did push a wick about 2 points below the fair value gap. Let's now see how this next candle reacts. And we already pushed lower than the last candle, so it's potential that it could close below the fair value gap, invalidating it, and we could see price return back down into this area prior to moving higher. Let me put a Fibonacci on this just to see where we are. I mean, we still have another 20 seconds on this candle to close. But if we do see a sizable retracement, um, optimal trade entry is here. Oh, wow. Look at that. Okay, so we got a closure well above the fair value gap. We see that it was used price to push through a couple times, but it was always rejected. We got a closure right on the 50% mark. The following candle dug even deeper, but recovered and closed well above. Now let's make sure that wasn't a fake out and look at this candle and see if we get another rejection. Okay, there we go. Look at that. You're right. Tomorrow could be crazy. Yep, we're gonna have to be very careful with news at 8:30, 10, and 2. All right, once again, another rejection back into the fair value gap, a closure inside, and now we see strong momentum at the start of the next candle. All right, so this is likely the candle that will close below. You've seen the last swing low taken out now. Let's drop this since we did get a closure below. Still have not had a retracement down to the 50% level yet. It looks like we're in a 45% range, somewhere close. But yeah, we haven't had a retracement past 50%, which then takes us into discount where we look for a long, assuming we're long. Let me go and check the other indices along with the dollar just to see if anything's changed now that we're a half past. Okay, so nothing really has changed. We now have Nasdaq for this hour is bullish slightly. We have the S&P back at its entry at the hour. And we have the Dow selling still with the dollar also selling. Temporary bullish as of right now. Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense to be temporarily bullish. That level that he's talking about, that Ghost is talking about, is the 789 level. So about another 60 points or so, or another 50 points. I mean, got in at 731 for a quick 30. Right, 30 ticks. Okay, not bad. Almost 8 points there. $731. Okay, so Brad got in right around this area where price was struggling to move above, which also probably coincides with the fair value gap that we had before. Yep, right at the lower lip, at that lower edge. Good job, Brad. Not bad. So you jump in there, and then you can target either the consequent encroachment of this wick, which is 40 and a half. So that give you almost 9 points, or you could have targeted the high at 42, a little bit over 10 points. Yep. But it became clear after 3 or 4 candles that price was rejecting this area. And even though it was willing to trade down into it, it wasn't willing to close there. And so that gave the short scalp that Brad took. Okay, let me put that fair. I know the fair value gap is no longer relevant because it did trade below and closed. But this is where Brad was taking his entry from, and then we just saw another trade back down to that same area. Let's see if we also get a strong rejection and and then finally eclipse this swing high. Okay. All right. Yeah, everyone see that? So Brad is saying that his strategy changes on days without news. If there's news, he's then looking probably for some sort of continuation or in a bigger move. But on days without, he's looking for shorter scalps, expecting that price will want to expand, but then retrace and maybe retract all the way back to its origin. Yeah, typically your days without news are Mondays or first days of the week, as we see now after the holiday on a Tuesday. Accumulation and quarter theory. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I know much about quarter theory. So thanks for that. You just look for a breakout and resistance. Okay. Yep. That's typically what you'll get on a news day. You definitely get that breakout. Great. Are we going to get that high at 741 or not? All right. And this is the end of the candle. So that's, wow. All right. Let's see what we get for an encore. What's the follow up look like? All right. Maybe it'll create a fair value gap here that'll hold price below. I mean, it'll target a sweep of this low, but we'll see. As I mentioned before, we never made it to discount, so we never eclipsed the 50% mark. Looking for longs, but price did just kind of take off from there. But we see it stalled prior to getting to the high. It got clipped right above the consequent encroachment of this wick here, and then we saw price crash. Now we'll see if it wants to recover, and if it can recover, get back above, close above the fair value gap, take this high along with the swing high here at 742, and then we start moving towards higher prices. Otherwise, we'll continue to see lower prices because we'll end up sweeping this low, and then we'll get down the discount and we'll look for a long at that point. But this candle here was a good recovery. It made sure there wasn't a fair value gap, even though we got a big bearish candle. It was able to reclaim the fair value gap. Well, Mr. Vomega, I guess you can wait and find out. Um, but I guess really depends on what are you looking for. You just found the channel, but what are you looking for? Price elements, order block, fair value gap, old highs and lows. All right, well, that'll give you an order block here. The price is traded back to order block's been holding all closures up until we got the big push down a few minutes ago. But before that, order block was holding everything. But then we got another. Actually, let me get rid of this just so it's not confusing us. And it pushed back, but then we just saw it lost the level. So not only did it sweep the lows, but it also lost the order block. Now we're in the discount, as I mentioned, below the 50% mark. Just tap below. And now let's see if we either get an impulse out or if we get a deeper retracement. But the optimal trade entry would be in this range for a long between 720 and 715. So that's actually not a big range. Ideas for good trades, better analysis than mine. Yeah, I would say hang out for a little bit and just see if you like the vibe we have here. I think I give decent ideas for trades, but I'm trying to be honest with you. I mean, I'm telling you what I see and what I like, but I'm not trying to get the room to follow me in trading. It's not really what I want to do. I want everyone to have their own ideas. I want us to collaborate, talk about what we see, and all of us learn from each other because everyone has a different style. But also, everyone be responsible for their own trades. If you see that I set up a trade and you jump into it, that's on you. That's you risking your own. You probably should do a paper account or some sort of demo until you feel comfortable, because ultimately you have to feel comfortable in the trade, and you have to manage your risk properly. But I think a collaborative effort like we have in this room is a great way to learn, or a great way to further your knowledge and experience, because you can lean on others at the exact same time, as opposed to sitting at home by yourself and trying to figure out what went right or what went wrong. Okay, I'll leave that there. So we did get a sweep of these lows. We got a return back above the fair value gap. I'm hesitant to leave this here because it has traded below and closed so many times. So I'm going to get rid of that. But we just see this range being, as soon as it's exposed, it's quickly recovered. We did move below the 50%, so that has been satisfied. Price doesn't need to go any lower. It's already done that. It can go lower, but it doesn't have to. My current strategy, it just depends on how I'm trading. Or are you asking Vega? Oh, I see. Thank you, Ghost. Appreciate you. Hey, in 1 minute, we have the 150 to 210 macro. So we'll wait for another minute and see if the next, the 20 minutes that follow provide us with a good trade entry. Oops, don't need this. Drop this as well. Bit of Fibonacci. All right, now we have a clean chart, or relatively clean. I think we had a sweep of this low as well. On the map, mark out the macro times. I'm not sure. I don't know why it got deleted. I didn't touch anything. I didn't see that you made a comment to Ghost. Okay, let's move up to the 5 minute and just. So, yep, you're right, Kelvin. That was a great short opportunity. Vega, yes, there was a trade this morning. Not this afternoon. No, I haven't. But we did have a morning session from 10 to 12 o'clock New York time. And I did take one trade during the morning session. Or I'm sorry, I took two trades actually. One was a break even, and the second, I took it for, what did I end up getting? I think I ended up getting somewhere around 20, somewhere around 20 points. Yep, silver bullet. Yep, during 2 o'clock. So we got another 5 minutes or so before that time period comes. Yep, and as expected, the dollar is buying again. Finally, the Dow is moving with its brothers. So now we have all the indices selling and dollars buying. I think we are gearing up for next hour for everything to be in sync, and we should find some price action that we like. We do have, who was that was shorting earlier? Oh, that's low rich. Yeah. Stop at 16,745. So low rich did not get stopped out, and he's still in, or should be still in. 733 and still we nice surge. It's at 733. Oh wow. Okay, so you got in on the top end. Lepowski, hi, hello, welcome to the channel. Yep, so now we're back in the same range, same area. We had a strong reaction from last time. The last time it pushed out from 700 up to 785. Let's see, where did we? We'll have to go up to the hour and see if we can figure out where price came from last. There we go. Okay, so before this morning, last time price was here was December 14th. Big push out. So we'll see if that continues. All right, and for everyone who's shorting, congrats on being in profit. I've been trading in probably the end of next month will be 3 years for me. Okay, 680 is your target. All right, you're almost there, Serge. Not far from it. About another 15 points. All right, so the low of the day so far is 16,685. Oh, Oladale Samuel, welcome to the channel. No, you haven't missed anything. I haven't taken any trades. We've been on now for almost an hour. But no, I haven't taken a trade today. We've just been watching price just move around, and it's hasn't been moving in tandem with the indices and the dollar. So there's certain things that we like to see if we expect price to expand, and we weren't seeing it, which is why price was being stalled and held. But we see now it's expanding to the downside, seeking out the low at 685. All right, let me get off of the hourly just so we can see a bit more price action. Back to the 5-minute. Yep. Great. We can get rid of some of these, especially this one. All right, the 1 o'clock hour shutting off in 15 seconds. There we go. All right, so I'll remove that as well. And we had a new one set up on the other side. Let's see where we are. Yep, so this is a New Year low or New York low from the AM session. Hasn't been swept yet, but we'll see. $685 or $695. Yep. So we got this swing low is at $685. Get rid of this. Okay, new afternoon low. We drop down to the 1 minute so we can see a few more candles. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Ghost. That's actually not a bad strategy, especially when you see it approaching the low. All right, there's 685. Just dropped whoever had that as a TP on a short. But Ghost, there you go. There's the sweep of the low. So now let's see if we do get a breakout or any kind of impulsive bullish action. Yeah, someone is in the wrong group. I'm not sure what that was. I'm going to ignore it for now. And if it continues, then I'll do something about it. Surge. Sweet. Look at that. 3,000. Wow. Oversold now on NQ. All right. Welcome, Ricky. Welcome. Good to have you in the room. Thanks for also joining the chat. All right, 680. Was that the level you were looking for, Surge? Let's see. My goal is 16,680 and a quarter. Yep. All right, Serge. I'm glad you met your goal and you got what you were looking for out of the market today. Hopefully you're still hanging out with us and just not trading. But if you do have to go, I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. We start up in the morning at 10 a.m. New York time, and then we have an afternoon session at 1 p.m. Low Rich 660. Yeah, I know you've been calling that level since early. So you're looking for another 20 points down. Okay, now we've crossed over. So we're in the 2 o'clock hour. So anyone looking for a setup that didn't materialize last hour, we can look and see if price action is going to be a little stronger this hour. Just early indications looking at all the indices and the dollar, they're moving in opposite directions, which is awesome. The indices are all going together, all selling. Dollar so far is near its daily high. It's trying to eclipse the high from the 11 o'clock hour. So far, everything is moving the way we like. And the the indices are selling. All right, within 10 points. So another 10 and Low Rich will be a happy person. Four-hour wick, 16,650. All right. Okay, I see exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it's the consequent encroachment of the wick on the 4 hour. It's also the low end of the range on a bullish fair value gap. So you have that going at the same time. That could be where price is drawing to. But it's interesting to see how everyone has their own targets and then their own style of trading. We have some people saying I'm long, some others saying they're short. So this is good. Thank you for reminding everyone. Yes, let's hit that like button if you're enjoying the content, so we can continue to grow and YouTube can bring us more live traders. And if you hit the like button and haven't subscribed, consider doing so. Subscribing will bring you every day the invitations as well as reminders just in case you forget. So you can always decide at that time if you want to join or not, as opposed to forgetting that we're on, or if you can't remember my username or anything. Just if you're enjoying the content, consider subscribing, but definitely hit the like button. All right, so still low of 68 now, so we pushed a little bit lower. Still not quite down to the 660 that low Rich is looking for, but still moving in that direction. Nothing about price action has changed. As of 2 candles ago, it was pushing for lower prices. We now have a fair value gap, which we may see a rejection, so we just want to pay attention and see what happens. Mr. Vemega, or Miss Vemega, I'm not sure. Um, I have not personally met anyone in the chat, but I have been chatting now. Oh, I have been live streaming now for, I believe this is our 5th week. So there are several members that I have conversations with on a daily basis, and we have a morning and afternoon session. So we do spend quite a bit of time together. Yes, it is. This is what I do every day. All right, we are getting some impulsive action going on. The last 4 or 5 candles have all been bullish, pushing for higher prices without a retracement yet. We don't have a shift in market structure, however, so we do want to continue to monitor price to see where it goes. All right, sweet. What is my platform? So I'm using TradingView right here, but I log into Tradovate, which is one of the brokers that's allowed to trade through the TradingView platform. So I like using this TradingView platform. However, I log into my broker through this TradingView platform and am able to take trades. And Tradovate has a contract with Topstep. Topstep. So when you sign up for Topstep, you can opt in to trade through Tradovate, which allows you to use this platform to trade. Otherwise, Topstep does have its own platform, so I could log into Topstep X, I believe it's called, and trade through their platform. But prior to signing up for Topstep, I was already using TradingView, so I'm really comfortable with it. I like the tools. I like how user friendly it is. And if I can trade through it without making any additional changes, that was my preference. And so that was one of the reasons why I wanted to go with Topstep, is because it gave that integration to trade through TradingView. All right, and TradingView is completely free. It's a bit limited at the free level, so you have to check and see if there are some of the options that you really need, like having multiple charts within one, or setting up 15, 20 alerts at a time. So whenever certain price levels are hit on certain charts, it'll send you a text message to your phone, so you'll know to come back to the charts. Some of those things are limited on the free version. I think you get maybe 4 or 5, and then once you pay, you can set up 20 or unlimited. But otherwise, I think TradingView is a pretty good platform to learn from, and also a good platform to use. Frank, so far I have not traded oil. It's never, no, I have not traded that before. Yep. Yeah, Ricky, I completely agree. So once I found out that Topstep allows you to maintain that relationship with TradingView, it was a no-brainer for me. Yeah, Ghost. Once we break structure, yep, then we'll look and see if there's either a fair value gap or something, something where we can take a trade and look for a long. Moved, stopped to 727. Okay. All right, low rich, but you're still in. It's good. I'm fine with. I don't mind questions. Omega. Nope. This is an interactive group, interactive room. So I no, I don't mind questions at all. Oh, Marcello, no, there wasn't any news. Not today. Not that I know of. But no, it could be that price is retracing from the bullish momentum we had in December. It could be the price is just retracing a bit, setting up tomorrow. There's a good amount of news tomorrow, um, so that could be one of the reasons. How much risk per setup? It depends. It really depends on what my stop loss is. But for the most part, I try to keep it less than 25 points, which means less than $500. Uh, operate through the, what is it? The XTB brokerage. No, I've never heard of the XTB brokerage. You'll have to check and see if they, I mean, if you want to trade what we're trading, you have to check and see if they do futures or not. Or if they don't do futures, then you'll need to trade CFDs, which would be, in this case, a US 100 is usually what it's listed as. What percentage of my account is that? I'm currently trading the 150,000. So $500 would be, let's see, See if I can do some quick math here. Percent. It's about 1/3%. Yeah, I think it's 1/3 of 1%. Bio Omo, as of right now, I'm not doing anything. We do have some subscribers in the room that are selling, or at least I know we had one for sure. Low Rich was looking for a 660 target. So he was hoping that price would get down here somewhere. But I know he had his stop loss well higher, much higher than where we are now. So unless he decided to collapse his trade, he's probably still in. There's maybe some others in the room also in shorts. But myself, I am neither. All right, so the dollar did take over the highs for the day, put in a new high, and it's so far stalling, so it's not making a lot of progress, but it's not selling at all. And we still have the indices all still selling on the 1 hour chart. Nasdaq is pretty close to where it started, but the other two are making decent progress, pushing downwards. Right, so for me, we still haven't broken structure, which would be here, a market structure shift. So until we get a market structure shift, then I'm not looking for either direction right now. Right, but I guess anyone looking for the silver bullet is giving you two options. It's giving you a short from this area at 213, and it's giving you a long from down here a few minutes later. Candle here at 216, touch exactly 50%. So let's see if it wants to retrace deeper or if that 50% is enough to push price higher. Max losing streak. I don't know, maybe 3. I'm not 100% sure. Mr. Vemega, though, I don't know. You seem to be really, really interested in what my winnings are. I'm not encouraging anyone in the room to copy my trades and to come here just to follow me every day and just take the trades I trade. I would much prefer a more interactive process where I'm trading, you're trading, and we're both doing our own thing, and you believe in what you have. And maybe as I'm explaining why I'm doing what I'm doing, maybe you like some of the things that I'm saying, and then it pushes you to then go and back test and then gain that same level of confidence in your trading. But I'm not encouraging someone to come in every morning and try to get rich, and it's up to me to get us both rich. That's not the message here. Wondering why I don't risk more. Yes, I am a bit more conservative, but preserving capital is the most important thing. It's not about getting rich in 3 trades. It's about maintaining yourself. It's about passing the combine and getting funded, keeping that funding, building capital up slowly, or I'm sorry, building up equity slowly, and then being able to withdraw that equity with multiple accounts, taking small, low risk trades so you maintain your funding. Yeah, I could risk more, but yeah, the max losing would be 3, but then I also have some break evens in there too. So you could have 10 trades and it could be 3 wins, 3 losses, 4 break evens, right? And in that case, depending on your losses and your wins, that's really going to be your profit. So it's important to be conservative. Also, just to make sure that people aren't just following my trades. I can't take trades as an entertainment type of situation where I'm just trying to make sure that everyone sees me trading. That's again, that's not what I'm here to do. All right, well, no worries. Yes, I am trading ICT concepts. Yep. Is that Elmer Alvarez? Yes, I am trading ICT concepts. All right, Miss. I'm sure you'll find that you are still going to be useful. Maybe you just won't be calling out any trades or anything, but you can still find yourself to be useful. Don't sell yourself short. Yeah, with the silver bullet, I find that bias and sentiment is important. So you have to have you have to know where the next draw in liquidity is. So you want to look at what just happened previously, especially if you're doing the morning at 10 o'clock. You just had the opening bell at 9:30 plus the opening range at the 9:30 to 10 o'clock. So look in that 30 minutes and look and see if you had a liquidity pool already, because that could give you an indication that maybe price wants to go the other way. But yes, definitely bias and sentiment matters. It's not just the first fair value gap, because you can see here after 2 o'clock. So we had price continue pushing down, then we saw it pull back up, and now we're sitting between this fair value gap and this fair value gap, and you could either go long or go short. Right, and so this is sort of what it would have looked like. You would have set this up here, put this down to this one, and then you would have went, well, 1 to 2 wouldn't have been a whole lot. It only yielded you about 10 points. Oops, sorry. Here, there we go. Yeah, I had the incorrect. All right, so this would have been your 1 to 2 trade here. If you went short, you can see it hasn't stopped you out yet, but it also hasn't pushed a lot into profit. Even now it's at break even. And that's if you wanted to go short. And if you wanted to go long, right? So those would have been your trades. based on a silver bullet, and you have 2 fair value gaps depending on which one you chose. Yep. Going long, you risk 10, trying to get 20. Going short, you risk almost 7, trying to get 13 and a half. And that's on a 1 to 2. Oh, you mean what do I like about using TradingView? It just, I don't know. It was the first one I learned, but it's just super easy. It's very widely used. There's a ton of like indicators that are being developed by different people and put on here. And these are all the ones I have favorited, not ones I'm using, but ones I have favorited. But there's just so many. As a good app that also syncs up with your computer. Like I say, I can use Tradovate through this TradingView. Now I don't log into Tradovate at all. Tradovate is kind of an intermediary because I have an account with Topstep, but Topstep doesn't log directly into TradingView, so it uses Tradovate as an intermediary, and it's free. Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. All right. So Low Rich is saying this was the silver bullet. He's saying the silver bullet happened at exactly 2 o'clock. It traded into this fair value gap here and then sold off for, I don't know, 30 points or so. You're not happy with the charting system. Yeah, I really like the charting system here. I have my little favorites toolbar. Usually it's hidden behind here so you guys can't see it, but that's where I'm pulling all my tools from, as opposed to coming on the left hand side where the menus are a little, you know, filled with a lot of items that I don't normally use. But yeah, this just works well for me. It's a free software if you want to just give it a try. I have a link down in the description. You just sign up for an account and you can start using it. It doesn't cost you anything. You can decide later if you want one of the paid options, but the free option is actually pretty good. All right. So if anyone went long off of this fair value gap, a 1 to 2 trade is already delivered 20 points. All right. And if we did use this as the silver bullet, 1 to 2 trade would have been here. So it delivered 21 points. We took a short from here and then it traded down. All right, let's remove this one. We've swept that high already. So that would have been our market structure shift where now we can look bullish as long as price remains bullish. Let me check the others and see where we are on the dollar. Okay, dollar is kind of a stalemate this hour. It's not really doing much, but we are seeing price push down on the Dow and the S&P. And now the Nasdaq is pretty much at break even for the hour. My level half a breaker structure was here. 16,702. Chris, you wanted to continue flushing lower? Oh, TradeStation doesn't have the best indicators. Okay. Yeah, I know TradingView, since it has so many users and a lot of users are doing their own developing, yeah, there's tons and tons of indicators and new ones pop up all the time. Let me remove this. I mean, we did take out this level, and so far we've gotten a retracement. And just again go and Fibonacci this. Would have been nice for when the structure was broken for the candle body to close above. I'm waiting for the indices to continue to walk in tandem with the dollar moving the opposite direction. The dollar is now starting to sell off along with the indices. But that doesn't mean that price isn't going to still move. It's just that's my requirement for entering a trade. So Omega, that's really what I'm getting at, is that we all have our own styles. And so figure out what yours is. You can even hang around and see how other people are trading to figure out what different styles are like, and figure out which one you like. And from there, not only do you back test it, but you practice entering trades based on those parameters. Inverted fair value gap on the 15. Okay. Let's see. Yep. I also want to see if price can get below this 50% mark on this Fibonacci on this measurement. and ideally somewhere down in the 70% range. But I do like this fair value gap here below 61. I like that one. Not necessarily a pattern, but I am. What I want to see is the three indices move in one direction. I want to see the dollar move in the other direction. If I'm long, I want to see this price action move into discount, which it is now. We have a sweep of a low. Let's drop down and see what we get. Let's see if we get an impulse movement up, setting up and creating a fair value gap. Let me just make sure that no, it's all right. So all indices are moving downward. So what I originally wanted, which was a long, doesn't look feasible right now. Okay, can we get a fair value gap created on this side? And then see if the other indices are also buying up. That could entice me to go long. Okay, but without a fair value gap, yeah, I don't see it. Vomega, if I could give you some advice, nearly every strategy that you've ever seen works. The reason why you've seen it is because somebody's using it and someone's making money from it. So all strategies to some degree work, but they do all have their own rules, and you'll definitely have to practice. There's no way around it. You have to practice a lot about seeing the setups, and then you have to practice also the ones that you thought were going to be winners that turned out to be losers. Then you have to go and figure out, what did you miss, why did they lose? And then some 20 to 30% are just losers, not because of anything you did, but just because the strategy is not 100%, and no strategy is 100%. So what I would do if I were you is I would pick a strategy that spoke to my personality. So whether you are okay holding a trade for an hour, or you need to have your trade finish in 15 minutes because you just don't have the heart to stay in that long, or whatever, but find something that speaks to your personality that you like, and then go all in on it. Like all in. Whether it's a silver bullet, whether it's ICT himself, whether it's VWAP, whether it's RSI, it doesn't matter. They all work, but they don't work 100% of the time, and you will have to put in the legwork. Like you can't learn a concept and then next week give it a shot and then start becoming profitable. It hasn't worked that way for me, and it hasn't worked that way for anyone that I know either. Um, Everyone's put in a lot of work of learning strategies and then practicing the strategy. And then once you learn all the technicals and you got the strategy down, then you have to work on your psychology and make sure that you yourself aren't in the way. I've looked a little bit into it. His videos are quite long, and after spending a few years into ICT, um, I don't have the patience to look at 30 hours of videos. But I have looked a little bit into what Dave is doing because I utilize a scalping model, a short scalping model that Dave uses. But actually, I got most of my information from Dave teaches from another trader called Stoic TA. He took Dave's material and kind of broke it down to about an hour and a half video. And so I found that one a bit more favorable. So I watched it. So it's, I guess I sort of watched Dave, but I watched him through someone else. In the early days, well, consider I'm still in my evaluation phase. I wouldn't say I've blown any accounts, but I've definitely, my early days when I first started, I don't know how you guys started, but when I first started, I thought I could pick this up really quickly. So what I did is I took some money and I threw it into a brokerage account. I spent a couple weeks watching a few videos on trading strategies, and then I thought I could do it, and I started trading real money. So if that's what you mean, blowing accounts, I blew quite a bit, good amount. But that was me naively jumping in feet first, thinking that I could accomplish everything in trading in just a couple weeks or a couple months. And as I mentioned when I started this video, at the end of next month, I'll be at 3 years of trading. So 3 years ago, I threw money in an account, looked at a few videos, and started. It didn't work out so well. That Bizzle, welcome, welcome. Good to have you. Good to have you. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the live stream. And Happy New Year. Yep, got about 10 minutes or so before 3 o'clock. As you can see, price hadn't really moved anywhere. So for those eager to trade, we wouldn't have accomplished anything jumping into a trade in the last 30 minutes or so. Brother Free, welcome back. Almost 5 figures. Wow. Okay. This morning took 2 trades, break even on the first one. The second trade was positive. I think I took one contract and got just over, so maybe like 21 points or so, something like that, 410, $420. Um, so that was this morning. And so far this afternoon, no trade yet. I draw them manually on the smaller time frame just because they come so quickly and get taken away. But if you want to use an indicator, I use this one. It's called FVG Nephew Sam. And then, so I turned it off, but if I turn it on, you can see what happens. It draws over. And that's because also on this same chart, some of the fair value gaps I drew are from like the 5 minute. But then on the, so I just have it to, so whenever I switch the chart, so if I'm on the 5 minute, it'll just mark them all up on the 5. And when I switch to 1, it'll do it there. So that's what this option is for. Extend boxes. delete boxes after fill. So whenever it trades through it and closes through it, I want it to delete the box. Oh, and I'd say go to 300 candles. So that's where you kind of get in trouble if you're on the higher time frame. Like I was explaining earlier on the daily, or maybe I think it was the hourly. We were looking at a fair value gap from December 14th. Well, it's been more than 300 candles since then. So looking at today, I wouldn't have seen that fair value gap. But then when I condense the chart and go back to the last time was in this area, then you could see there was a fair value gap there. So in that case, I had to draw it manually and then stretch it out. But this is a good way to make it automatic. So during your trading session, you don't miss any. Hope that helps. Yep, absolutely. Make sure you're journaling on a daily basis. When you finish your trades, go back, check the trades you took, look at why you took them, and then try to figure out how you can duplicate it if it was a good trade and if it wasn't. Is there something you missed, or was it just one of the 30% of trades that would have failed no matter what happened? But you followed your rules to a T. Price action looked good. All of your conditions were satisfied, and it just was a losing trade. Those are also good to revisit, but to I guess to know that you did everything right, and it just didn't work out for you. But I definitely support journaling, and it was something I did not do my first probably 18 months trading. I did not journal. All right, let's get rid of this. Honestly, I think we can drop this one too. Yep, we sure can. All right, we got our last 10 minutes of the hour. We're in the macro heading into power hour. So we'll go ahead and gear up for that. I don't like the fact that the dollar made a high this hour and then just stalled, didn't do anything while I watched all the indices push downwards, looking for lower prices. All right, we're getting there. So everyone who's in the room and is enjoying the content, I'm sure there may be a handful of you that aren't, but those of you who are, if you could hit the like button, I really appreciate that. That'll help YouTube push the content out to other traders who may want to join our live stream. Let's see if we can get a few more traders in for this last hour of trading today. All right, so we have a new low of the day now. Chris, I hope you're still holding. exchange wallet. Would I, sir? Which exchange wallet? I think you're talking about crypto, maybe. But I utilized Topstep as a prop firm, so I'm not sure if you were really asking which broker I'm using. Okay, so that's interesting. Just looking at the 4-hour chart, and we've been bearish every candle since basically midnight on Friday. So bearish every candle on Friday trading day, and then every candle today. No, this is not a trade signal service. We are trading, however, though. So if you want to trade the indices, we are trading. I talk about the market. I talk about what I want to see, what I like to see. I will take trades in front of you. So absolutely. But I'm not encouraging you to take my trades, and definitely not encourage you to take my trades with real money. So if you want to follow along and you have a demo account and you just want to see what happens if you hit the same button I hit, then that's fine. But if you're trading with real money, I'm not encouraging you to follow me trading, because my risk is different than yours. What I see is different than what you see, and so how I manage the trade is going to be different than how you manage the trade. Yep, 660. Who's that who called out 650? Somebody asked for 650 earlier. I feel like that was Chris who asked for 650. Can't find it, but I know somebody asked for 650 earlier. We're getting close. Okay, well, thanks. I try to be polite. There he is. Low Ridge found his 660. Now let's see if Chris or whoever was looking for 650 is able to get that. Oops. Okay, new hour here. Power hour. We'll see what the first few minutes bring us, and then that mid-hour macro from 15 to 3:45, where we'll be looking for the final setup. $650 on what? Oh, somebody in the room was they were short when we were up in this. Let me see, we were probably up in this area, and they were saying they were hoping that price would get down to 650. So that was their target. Okay, well it did get there. So whoever that was, looks like your target's been met. Low rich 470 ticks. Holy cow! Wow, that's awesome. Was that 240 points or something close? No, 140 almost. So that means he got in around 790-ish. Jeez. He's been in all day. Mm-hmm. Essentially, this high here from 10 o'clock essentially took that short, and it's been in all day long holding it. Man, talk about diamond hands. Yep, that's crazy. Excellent trade, though. I will say that excellent trade and way to hold it and believe in your take profit and not waver away from it. Not many traders can do that. I know I can't do that. There's no way I would have held that trade all day, especially when it started retracing back during lunch hour. There's no way I would have held it. All right, let's look and see where the targets are now. Let's go into hour. Let's go back to last time we were around this area. Oh, sorry. Wrong thing, wrong thing. This one should go to an hour. There we go. Alrighty, here at 628 on December 14th, we had a low. So let's go ahead and mark that out as our next target, and then this one. So we got them both. It could be there's a weekly fair value gap, a small one right where it is right now, around 618-ish. So a couple points down. And then you have the larger one down at 566, 570, somewhere in there. 766 to 660. Oh, you took it at 1145. Huh. Oh yeah, I just completely butchered my math here. I didn't do that right. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. About 117 points ish. Okay. Either way, nice trade, Low Rich. Okay, so there was a liquidity level that was broken. The one from December 14th I just pointed out. Now we'll wait and see what price wants to do as a reaction to taking out that level of liquidity. Does it want more? Because if it does, there's about another 50 points down is the next one. Or we can get a strong bullish moment reaction from this level, which could then send us looking for a long soon. I mean, obviously, it would need to have a market structure shift. It would need to have fair value gaps mixed in. There would have to be some reasons to jump into that trade since everything seems to be bearish. But we are pushing up on the end of the day. So if price continues to put in lower prices, it will need to make a wick on the daily candle at some point. And so we will see some level of pullback. All right, Low Ridge. Talk to you tomorrow. Your next setup, 350 algo. Okay. Alrighty. I will catch you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. I'm in the States. I'm in Arizona. Oddly enough, AVS Phoenix. I'm in Phoenix. Oh, okay, Jeremiah. My neck of the woods. Good to have you in the channel. Okay. All right. Yeah, I've been living in Arizona now for a little over 6 years, or right at 6 years, and been good so far. I like it here. I'm from North Carolina originally from Charlotte. I've lived all over. I've lived in Virginia before. I've lived in Los Angeles before. I've lived in the Middle East in Jordan before. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. You're right about that, Jeremiah. Yep, I do walk my dog as soon as we get off the session today. That's usually what I do. I take the dog for a walk, and I'm usually in short sleeves, even though we just had New Year's yesterday. Yeah, oddly enough, when I lived in Jordan, it was very extremely similar to Phoenix weather, where it's extremely hot in the summer, mild winters. Um, in fact, yeah, it was when I moved to Phoenix, uh, I already knew what I was getting into after having lived in the Middle East before. But since I hate the rain, I prefer to live in dry places. So Phoenix works for me. But it's a little wetter than I didn't expect Phoenix to rain as much as it does. I had Carowinds. Okay, somebody's been to Charlotte. Not much from price in the last 6 or 7 minutes. It's kind of sitting around this level. Once it took out that little liquidity from 3 weeks ago, it's just not done much since. And as I say that, another break to the downside. Let's see if it wants to just do a liquidity sweep here, and then we see an energetic move upwards, or if it continues pushing downwards. Michael, I don't think I'm familiar with CAG. What is CAG? Low Rich, are you back in? You want 585 now? Oh, okay. I see what you're saying, Michael. Yeah, Michael. I don't trade any stocks. So not none of the tech companies or anything. It's only the indices, mostly Nasdaq. But I will look at S&P. There's quite a few ES traders in the room as well. But outside of that, I don't trade anything else. So I'm not trading crypto or any of the stocks. All right, there we go. That's an energetic move. We got potentially a fair value gap here. And now we have a market structure shift. Nice if we can close above. So let's see if that's possible. Drop down to the 30 seconds just to see what's there. All right, so the 30-second closed above. The 1 minute not. Oh, the 1 minute did as well. I trade this indice, Nasdaq futures, NQ. That's what I trade in. I invest in a host of things, but I don't think we're that's really the subject here. But as far as trading, it's going to be indices, U.S. indices, Nasdaq as the primary, S&P as a backup. The Dow, not really. Just use it more for confluence. And I also watch the dollar just to see how the other indices are going to react towards it. But outside of that, there's no other trading going on here. Wow, 5 contracts. All right, ABS. Let's see what we get out of this. About 40 minutes into the hour's over. So, yeah, let's see how we close out today. How do you trade? And I don't understand, but you know, charts. Yeah, from what I understand from people who've been trading for years and years and years, everyone tells me that price action is price action. So really, you can trade anything. But you do want to pick a few pairs that you like, or a few things that you like to trade, so you can understand the nuances of those individual commodities. But as far as just candles and the way that the algorithm delivers price, from what I understand, it's relatively the same any and everywhere you go. Thanks, low, Rich. See if we can get some production out of this trade, or if it's just going to shoot down on me. Okay, yeah, we'll want to see how this candle closes, since it did pierce all the way through this fair value gap. Let's see if it can get some bullish momentum and end up closing higher. Okay, so it just did at the very last second push out and close higher. So now we want to see the follow-up candles and see if they follow suit, and if we continue to get higher prices, or at the very least no lower prices. Bell Road and 40th. Okay. All right, so you're up north, I believe. Sweet. No, I'm down in Arcadia. All right, let's see if we can get a push. I will move this, as that's now our newest and most recent pool of liquidity. Let's see how price reacts, assuming it gets up there. All right, so we had a close above the fair value gap, which is so far a good sign. We're gonna want to be careful just in case. Just in case price is going off of this lower fair value gap, where we may have a TP here at 651, as opposed to my TP, which is at 667. So what I think I'm going to do is, when price gets to 651, which could be the end of the trade, assuming this lower fair value gap was the entry, I'm going to move to break even, just in case it peels all the way back on me. I will be in break even. But I think I still want 667. We'll see once we get there. All right, so we have a new high made, at least for the hour. We have a continuation of the structure breaking, bullish momentum. We want to see if we can continue to get price to at least push above here. So let me move that target to this here now. $15-minute breaker. Okay. Mathematical Genius, welcome back. Haven't heard from you today. 15 No, you're right. Phoenix is not the best price action, at least not the first last 10 minutes or so. But right, this is our setup. So, we have to follow through and just see how things work out. And it's the end of the day. So sometimes they will stall price a bit and then it'll just take off on you. Just see where price settles here, where we get a close of the candle. Okay, sweet. That means I can get rid of this guy. Still pull this one across, still relevant. Okay, let's set our stop loss right here now. All right. Anyone who took the entry at the lower fair value gap at 16,633, you are about 30. Yep, you just cleared 30 points. I took my trade from this fair value gap. Low. So for me to get a 1 to 2, it's going to be hard. It's going to be quite difficult, actually. That's why I had such a high level. Is that 25-ish? Yep. Hmm. Oh, are you saying what got me into futures? Is that what you're asking for, AVS Phoenix? Okay, we got the dollar selling, we got indices buying. Exactly what we need, and what we're looking for. All right. If you're enjoying the session, make sure you hit that like button so YouTube knows it. It's also a good indication for me, so I know that you're enjoying the session. Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate it. Let's see where 16,691. Okay. Oh, okay, I see. Yep. So this was the swing high that started the sharp move down, which just before 3 o'clock. Let's break even this trade now. Go north up Camelback Mountain. Yeah. Definitely. I run right into where you are up in North Phoenix. All right. Let's see if I can get some support here and aim for a new high. Let's mark that up now. Hello, Howard. How's it going? Welcome to the channel. Welcome in, Mr. Linari. Not sure how to pronounce it, but welcome. Good to have you. All right, we're getting a little retracement on our trade now. I have it down at break even, but let's hope we don't have to worry about that. See if we can't get a push above this fair value gap and see if it can't hold price. All right, 80 people in the room right now. I think we're doing pretty good. That's not normal for us. Thank you all for being here. I think it's because I'm trading. Everyone wants to see how it ends. But we'll see. Right now, things aren't looking great, but let's hope it turns around for me. It's 3:36, so 25 minutes before the end of the hour, for the end of the session. Oh, you took partials. All right, AV Phoenix. Well, you had 5 contracts, so good for you. Um, yeah, as I mentioned when we were looking at if you took the entry from the lower fair value gap, that's definitely where you would have wanted to take partials at, even if you entered on the higher fair value gap like I did. Yeah, it's never too late. Just because you just arrived, maybe you missed a lot of what's going on today, but if you subscribe to the channel, you can catch us on the next live stream tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock New York time, or tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. New York time. Right now, I'm not using an indicator, but if you want to use an indicator for fair value gaps, I use this one. It's called FVG Nephew Sam. And that'll give you it'll draw the fair value gaps for you so you don't have to do it. But as far as an indicator, I don't have an indicator right now. This right here is just a tool to measure out take profit and stop losses. So I'll move that out of the way. But yeah, there's no indicators. I have this one. I think this is an EMA. I think it's a 20 EMA maybe. Uh-oh, looks like we might break even here. And we did break even. Okay, all right. It's probably going to bounce out of this fair value gap and run up to target, but that's okay. Let's see if I can squeeze another entry out in the next 20 minutes. Or if what it just delivered was all it was going to deliver and I should have taken profits. Hmm. The name of the indicator, FVG nephew Sam. Let me pull it up in the indicator. This one here, FVG nephew Sam. Oh, there it is. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. All right. So am I going to get bitten by the moving the stop loss bug? Um, it does happen every time it comes and it stops me out at break even. It does go. It just it does its thing. I don't know. I can't call it. It's one of those things. But that's one of my issues. That's something I need to work on. It's something I need to back test more so I can learn to leave my stop loss where it is. All right, let's see if this trend line uh, continues and price remains above. You're right, Jeremiah. I think it does know. It's watching me. Okay, hopefully someone else who also went long is still in. They didn't move their stop loss and they're holding for final profit. Another 15 minutes almost on our session today. If anyone has any questions that's just been they've been burning the ask and they didn't really find a good time to ask, throw it in now. Let's go over those questions before our session ends. Yeah, AVS Phoenix, that's exactly what I felt. I felt like TradingView. There was no reason to move off of it. So once I found a prop firm that allowed me to keep TradingView, I was sold. I knew I had found what I was looking for. Let's see, what was that trade I took? So I took it from here. and it was a 1 to 2 trade. So it went to here. Okay, yep, this was the trade I originally had and I was holding. And so now I'll just wait and see if we can come out on the other side of the green so we can see if that trade would have produced what I thought it would have. All right, looks like we're getting ready to eclipse the high from 15 minutes ago. 10 a.m. New York time, so 8 a.m. Arizona time. It's the Lunari. Yeah, Lunari. Yep. Absolutely. That's why I like TradingView, and I'm not interested in using a broker's platform. All right, so it did make a new high. We see price now retracing back down. Oops, it's not what I wanted. Yes. So Topstep integrates with TradingView through Tradovate. So when you sign up for Topstep, you just have to tell them that you want to use TradingView. So what they'll do is they make sure that Tradovate, which is a broker, registers your account with all the same information. So when you log in, so you have to log into Tradovate's site and just basically give it permission, essentially, to use TradingView. And then you go back into TradingView, log into Tradovate, put in your credentials, and then it pull up all of your details from Topstep and allows you to trade. But yeah, you actually log into Tradovate. Hopefully that makes sense. Yep. If you go down where you log into all the brokers, you'll see Tradovate as one of the options when you're in TradingView. Oh, okay. 10 a.m. versus 8 a.m. All right. Seems like price still wants to push a little bit higher. Yep. Yep. Definitely, John. Check when, look into Topstep and you'll see that they use that as an option. So it's the Lunari. So if you go through a prop firm, they're going to make sure you have live data because that's the only way that you can actually trade. So it's essentially paid through them. Now, if you're not through a prop firm and you're on your own, then yes, you have to order live data. Otherwise, on futures, you are, I believe, 10 minutes behind. Don't quote me on that, but it's somewhere in 10, 15 minute delay. Excuse me. Oh, 8 a.m. New York time. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, there it is. My trade would have been over right there, but holy cow, what was that? That was the first second of the candle. But I didn't hold my my stop loss, so this is hypothetical. This is just one of those things. But I did want to see how everything fared. Let's drop this piece. So that would have been 580 points if I didn't move my stop loss. Or $580, sorry. Who was that who called out 690? Who called out 690? It was, here we go. 691, 16691. The Bomb Inc. Right? It's what we've been waiting for all afternoon. But the market makers wanted to make sure everyone got tired, closed their laptops, and walked away from the screen. And then here we are at the next macro, 350. Boom. It gave us everything we were looking for. And who mentioned that macro on their way out the door? Was that low? I think it was low. Yep. Low Rich mentioned that on his way out the door. He said, watch out for, what do you say? The next one is at the 350 algo. Yep. Back again tomorrow with you. Good energy. My next setup is at 350 algorithm, which is right now. Holy smokes. Okay, so all of those have been taken. This is the next one in order. The high from the 2 o'clock hour. We can see down here that that trend line did hold up. Not that we trade off trend lines, but it helps us to see which direction price is trending and if it's going to continue or sort of the chain has been broken. But we'll get rid of the trend line. We don't need it anymore. Right. For anyone who wants to know why I took the trade that I took, even though it didn't give me everything I needed because of my own lack of discipline. The reason why I took it was because, we had a big breakdown in price. Price was trading downwards, downwards, downwards. And before I removed a line, there was a line of liquidity from 3 weeks ago that it crossed. From there, I was waiting to see if it was going to impulse upwards or down. And what I noticed was when this was the low, when we looked at the low here, the high that it would have needed to have been broken would have either been here, if you consider this the swing high. I'm not sure that's really a swing high because it's not really a wick there, but it could have been here. But once we had this soft retracement and then a new low put in, right? Because this low was then swept. Then for me, this became the high that I was concerned with for market structure shift. And so when that happened on this candle, then I was all in for a market structure shift and then looking at bullish momentum. Had this little piece of movement not happened and it just came down, put a low here and then impulse back up, it would have only been a retracement of this down leg, retracing back up only to continue moving downwards. But the fact that it put in this little swing high here and then took it, that gave me confirmation that now we had a market structure shift and we were bullish. We were moving upwards. Now this level is something different. I wasn't expecting that much, but I did have confidence that we were moving up. We were also in the last hour of the day. So I also knew there wasn't a lot of time for a lot of things to happen. So if it did move up, I would have a chance to get in, exit before time expired. And then if price wanted to move down, it could have. But that was why I took that trade. Oh, 8 a.m. New York time. No, it's 8 a.m. Phoenix time. It's 10 a.m. New York time. All right, Mr. Linari. See you tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel so you can get the invite. You'll know exactly what time I'm on. Exactly. Thanks, Jeremiah. Yeah, it was a good trade. It was worthwhile. It just, you know, it's not the first time it's happened to me. Yep. Okay, we're nearly up at 7:07. All right, 5 minutes left, everyone. 5 minutes. Any final questions? Please hit the like button. Let YouTube know that this is a worthwhile channel and that they should push other traders to come and join us, at least come and check us out. And if you do like it, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications. Therefore, every morning you'll get a reminder that we're going live. And then 30 minutes before we go live, you get an additional reminder. No, not necessarily fair value gaps. Sometimes it's going to be an order block. And then other times it's going to be a breaker block. So it could be a variation. It just really um, depends on what I see and also how I'm feeling that day. If I'm, really back tested something the day before and I feel really good about it, that may be the setup that I look for the following day. But it's generally one of 3 or 4 ICT concepts that have been taught. So if you're an ICT trader or you're at least aware of his concepts, then you'll be able to follow along pretty well. No, I wouldn't say I'm afraid of trading the first 30 minutes. Nope, not afraid. But I am a cautious trader. I will say that. I try to protect capital as best I can. Um, uh, so just kind of the way it is. BTC, no, nope, not trading crypto. I have some in a portfolio, but not actively trading it. Tradovate, what are you gonna trade tomorrow? Oh, same thing. We same trades every day. It's gonna be Nasdaq, but we're also gonna take a look at ES, and maybe we'll get into an ES trade. I'm not sure, but for the most part, we're gonna trade Nasdaq. Please come at 7:30 in the morning. uh, that's pretty early. You gotta remember I'm in Arizona, so I'm 2 hours before. So if you want a 7:30 New York, you're talking about 5:30 for me. That's really early. Yep. But I might actually start doing the morning session a little earlier. 9 o'clock probably wouldn't be bad. 9:15, somewhere in that range. I could be persuaded to start the morning session that early. Look at price. Look at it go. Do we have anyone in the long still? I think futures, well, not futures, but prop firms, you generally let you trade until 10 after 4. So you have about 12 minutes left. If any of you are prop firm traders and you're in a long or hell, in a short, can't imagine you being in a short, but if you're in a long, you may want to at least move your stop loss just in case price decides to do something quick and fast. Um, but otherwise, look for wherever your profits are going to be so you can close off in the next 10 minutes. Right, so we get rid of this now. We're now in the middle of this one. Great recovery by price, I tell you. Yeah, definitely. It will reward you. Don't stop the learning on ICT. It's going to take some time though, but it's well worth it. Okay, bomb still in his long. Hey, let me give you guys a little dose here. So this is news tomorrow, right? 8:30, FOMC Barkin speaks. And then at 10 o'clock, we have ISM manufacturing. We have JOLTS jobs opening, as well as ISM manufacturing prices, all at 10 o'clock. And then at 2 o'clock, FOMC meeting minutes. So whatever happened that morning, they're going to then come out and talk about it. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's an hour long thing. Let's see. 3 weeks after the fund rate is announced. Usually it'll tell you that it's an hour long. They'll have 30 minutes of some sort of prepared speech and then 30 minutes of Q&A. But this one doesn't say that. But anyway, so that's what we have tomorrow coming as far as news. So yeah, it's a lot going on. 8:30, 10 o'clock, and 2 o'clock. So be very careful tomorrow if you're not on the live stream. And if you are on the live stream, trust me, you'll hear me saying, be careful, be careful. All right, Jeremiah, good having you. Thanks for joining. We'll catch you tomorrow. In the morning, Ike, in the morning, I generally start at 10 o'clock New York. And then for the afternoon session, 1 p.m. New York. 1 p.m. New York and 10 a.m. for the morning session. If you join the channel, you will definitely get an invitation. Make sure you have the notification on, and it'll let you know that not only am I live, or am I going live, but it'll let you know when I actually do go live. But no, this has been a great session. I really appreciate all the support coming back in the new year. I mean, I started this 5 weeks ago, not knowing what to expect, and the reception I've received from 99% of you has been amazing. And it keeps me motivated. It keeps me coming back every day. So thank you guys for that. I really do appreciate it. And if I'm not mistaken, this video here has the video with the most views of all the videos I've ever done. So thank you all today for making that happen. I'm looking at the likes. We have more likes, I believe, than any other video ever. So yeah, man, things are definitely moving in the right direction. So thank you all for that. Couldn't have done it without you. Oh, nearly 600, Samuel. That is amazing. Unbelievable. We started out with 27 subscribers. I got my first subscriber on a live stream on the first day. I was just doing some testing, making sure that the equipment worked. I got one person to subscribe. And the next day I did 5 hours of live streaming. I got one person to subscribe. And then it was 2, and then it was 4, and then it was 10. And then last week we were in the 30s. So I don't know. It's just been an unbelievable ride so far. So thank you all. 10,000. That will be a goal. You know what? Let's do that. Let's make that the goal for 2024. 10,000 subs. Samuel put it in writing. I'm co-signing it. Let's make that the goal. Wow. 6 RR for the day. Unbelievable. That's what I'm talking about. Good job. No, I am not an ICT charter member. I discovered him in like October of 2021. And at that time, he had already announced he was not doing any more private charter memberships. And he was going to start a YouTube membership or mentorship for 2022, which I followed. He also did 2023. I followed that as well. But no, I had found him during the year that he was doing his last private mentorship. Well, I can do that now because we crossed 500 members. Once we get 500 subscribers, then they allow me to put a donation button up. So I'll throw that up, but not really that I'm looking for donations. It's more or less just progressing with the channel and getting into the monetization phase. Yep, absolutely, John. Let's push for 10,000. Let's make that our goal. Nope, no, Adam. Still haven't found my my nickname yet. Okay, yeah, I don't think we're quite large enough to need a moderator, but when that time comes, I'll keep you in mind. Thanks for that. I appreciate you offering that. Um, and welcome to the channel. Happy New Year. Hope to see you again soon. NQ Slayer. Oh, that. Well, let's get a few big wins before we start throwing that out there. Oh man, I didn't realize that 4:05. Okay, I've gone a few minutes over, but not a problem. If there are any more questions, throw it in. Let me know. Otherwise, we'll end the session today. I'll turn you guys loose. Everyone go into full back testing mode, and let's get ready for tomorrow. Oh, okay. You saw the interview with him. Okay. I don't know how I found him. Somehow I ran into his teachings, and at the time I was doing a lot of retail concepts, and I joined a group called IML, which had all these tools that gave you entries into trades, but never really taught you how to trade. And I needed someone to explain why things were happening, and ICT just fit that bill for me. And so that's how I got introduced to him and got hooked. And it's been very, very rewarding. Wow. I'm stumbling over my words. Oh, 9:30. Okay. I will let me put that into consideration and think and see if I can make that work to where I can start before 9:30 for everyone who doesn't mind trading the opening bell. All right, everyone. All right, all right, all right. Good job today. I had a great time. It keeps getting better. Definitely more interactive. We had a ton of comments today. We had a bunch of visitors as well. I think the most that we had ever had in one session was about 400 views. I'm looking at 740 now. So we're crushing it already to start the year. Thank you very much for that. Everyone take care, and we'll do this again tomorrow morning and afternoon. Cheers.